So we've finally done it.
What did we do?
Well,
you did most of it.
I was just about to say.
I've only been here for like 2 weeks.
I don't want you to not take any credit.
I'm going to take a lot of credit for this.
You know what? It's just a number. Numbers are stupid.
What did we do?
So today is episode 1588, and we've officially, and I'll get into a little like footnote in a second, we've officially tied the record with, remember that show called Buzz Out Loud?
I've heard of it, yeah.
They did 1,588 episodes. This is, and then that was their last show. Mm-hmm. Well, this is 1588 for us. It's not our last show. We're just tying them. So yeah, if that's a big deal. I mean, Joel, our buddy Joel, sent us this funny meme. What's that say?
Remember when the 404 was the other CNET podcast? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Pepperidge Farm remembers. It's that Family Guy meme.
Yeah, I've seen this a billion times.
Well, you know, that's what it is, man. Look, like I said, numbers are stupid. They're just numbers, right? They're just numbers. They don't mean a lot.
I like the way you think. I mean, it would definitely revolutionize like mathematics and physics. People thought like you did.
I don't know why I have this like naivete where I thought we were probably one of the only podcasts to reach this number.
Did you look it up?
I looked it up. Our buddy Andrew was like very quick to point out that Keith and the Girl. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I don't remember.
I think it's Keith and the Girl. I think it's a Canadian-based podcast. Canadians are my favorite kind of people, so
of course they are.
I have nothing but respect
because they're polite.
They're almost at 2,100.
So.
But on a technicality, think about all the holiday episodes we've done. Think about all the CES episodes we've done. We're probably pretty close to that.
Well, we could say U.S. based then, if you want to. If you want to get particular about it.
We are the number one U.S. based podcast in the history of podcasting.
Awesome. I
don't even know if that's true. But we're very excited. This is a big week for the 404 and for what the future holds in the program. It's December 3rd, 2014. Let's start the show. Welcome to the 404 Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeff Bakalar. I'm joined by Iyaz Akhtar.
Hello.
Mark Lisea is in the control room today, switching, making like Wolverine cat-like faces. How are you, dude? Are you good?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that today. So real quick, I want to tease tomorrow's show. What you can expect.
The record-breaking episode.
Right, the record-breaking episode 1589. So Jill Schlesinger will be here tomorrow as well.
I've never met her.
You've never met Jill?
No.
That's weird.
I don't plan to tomorrow either. I'm just gonna like.
Just ignore her. Just turn your back to her.
Yeah,
and then,
you know what? Why not be a total ass tomorrow?
You should be. And then Justin will be here tomorrow as well. And Justin will be sort of like floating around. Everyone will be floating around, and then Wilson and Randall over Skype. So if you do have a question for any of us or for them or for Justin or whatever it is, you have anything you want to say, we're basically going to devote tomorrow to you, the fans, and the listeners. So go to our subreddit, reddit.com/r/the404. So we're going to get things started. Relatively simple show today. Not a lot of crazy stuff. It's boring.
Yeah, everyone's like on vacation right now.
Everyone's on vacation. End of year stuff starting to happen. But today, believe it or not, is the 20th anniversary of the PlayStation, which seems kind of young.
It's making me feel extra old.
It doesn't make me feel that old because it feels like 20 years ago. It's not, I don't know, like Nintendo is, Mario's way older, Zelda's way older. They're like 30.
You know, Andre the Giant's been dead for 21 years?
That's not doing it for me.
21 years.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Doesn't seem like it was that long ago.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he dies and the PlayStation shows up the next year. So that's the history lesson here.
Weird. If you recall, 1994 saw the release of the original PlayStation, that beautiful gray machine that was the first true popular disc-based console that we saw here in the U.S. I'm sure there was something else that
Somebody's going to start screaming about
it's
the
like a
Dreamcast.
3DO or like
Somebody's
the 3DO.
going to scream about the Sega CD.
Dreamcast was 99. That was way later.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Remember 99?
When was the Saturn then?
Sega Saturn was
between.
After Genesis.
Okay. That complete cluster thing.
Sega Saturn was basically, I feel like Saturn, I don't know, we have like all the world's information in front of us. I'm not going to look it up because it's more fun to just
I'm going to
think about.
assume that the Saturn happened
Around the time of the PS4, PS1.
PS4. Yeah, that's exactly when it happened. I know.
Now I need to know.
I'm going to say that because I know that's unequivocally wrong.
Do you know, Mark? I don't know.
It was the same time.
It's the same time.
Yeah, because I remember they had a promotion. It was the same year that the PlayStation released, and they had this promotion where you got 3 free games. It was Virtua Fighter 2.
You're right. It was
Daytona
the same
USA
time.
and Virtual Cop 2.
Yeah, in Japan it came out November 22nd, 1994. So it predates the American release, I guess, of PlayStation. And yeah, it came to the US in May of 95, Sega Saturn. PlayStation came to the US in 1994.
So
Regardless, we're only doing this because in celebration of 20 years of PlayStation, Sony has released a special edition gray version of the PS4, which is, it's kind of sick. I kind of want it.
You know, at first I saw the image and I'm like, it looks kind of boring. I'm like, okay, there's a black one, there's a white one. How cool could this be? And then
It's
I watched
cool.
I watched the video, and
Yeah.
when this guy unboxes it, there's this weird like nostalgic feeling I got right away. I'm like, that's the right color.
That's it.
It's the exact
It's
gray.
this weird, crappy gray, like
Right.
almost NES gray.
Well, that makes a lot of sense too.
You know what I mean?
History of
It's like
PlayStation.
it must have been the only color available back in the day.
And they matched the gray, and they got all these like etchings in it.
Yeah, so it's cool. So the etchings have like the X, the triangle, and then like 20 etched in. If you look,
Yeah,
it's
there's
very
two
very
near
fine.
the zeros right there.
Kind of awesome. It comes with a PlayStation camera in that color and a DualShock 4. I don't know why it's $500 though.
Well, there's like 12,300 of them. It's a
Yeah, so
limited
they're making.
edition.
What is that number about?
1230? I don't know.
I mean, what is that about? I
have no
can't figure
idea.
that out.
They haven't mentioned it. Why exactly it's that little?
So, like you said, there's only a little over 12,000 being made, and that's worldwide. And if you want one, you can pre-order one for $500. Maybe it has a terabyte inside. I don't know. $500. That'll go on sale this Saturday, the 6th. You can pre-order. So there you go. 20 years celebrating for PlayStation. It's been a great 20 years.
I can't believe that this
They've
thing-
really kind of like overall they've nailed it.
Okay, yeah, considering,
PS3 faltered a little bit, but overall,
considering that like Sony was a non-player
right?
in the video game world until they were hooking up with Nintendo.
Totally.
They were going to be this was supposed to be the Super Nintendo
Yes, the
CD-ROM.
That's
system.
a little bit of trivia there. A lot of people don't know that Sony and Nintendo were like this close to making a disc-based console.
Yeah, the PlayStation was going to be a part of the Super Nintendo. This little, you remember the expansion thing on the bottom, that port that never got used on Super Nintendo?
Right.
That's what this thing was supposed to be.
Really?
The PlayStation,
Yeah?
the original PlayStation was supposed to connect underneath like the Sega CD.
Are we positive about that?
I'm positive about this.
Remember the Nomad?
Yes, the one that actually played Genesis games.
Right. It was like a portable Genesis player.
That was brilliant, except
Yeah.
like I think it had like a 1 hour battery life.
And it was 7 D-cell batteries.
And I think the games popped, they stayed out. Like
Yeah.
there was no real like miniaturization of anything.
That was the biggest, I mean, going back way before 94, that was like the biggest innovation I remember. After NES came out, and then you either got yourself an SNES or a Genesis, it was like, no. These consoles are top-loading. That's how you know it's the future of gaming. That was the only, like, I was like, oh, wow, this is the future
So that
right here.
zero insertion force stuff of Nintendo where you got to blow into it. And
Remember
everything.
when games just came out and they were finished? Remember that?
Right, because you'd buy it and there was no other way for it
there
to
was
get
no
updated.
update. Game come out and you'd be like, that's it.
But like when you
That's
get a
it.
game like Sonic and Knuckles, where you like, I think it was Sonic and Tails, where you actually could pop open the top,
yes,
and do the expansion.
and kind of like human centipede those things
I was
together.
like, this is freaking fantastic!
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm using Knuckles in in this game. And just
right. Didn't make sense. You're like, how? You're like, how's this
It's
happening?
like he's breaking all the rules. This is
Yeah.
freaking. Why don't more games do this?
Yeah. All right, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We've never really complained much about CAPTCHAs in the past, and it's by far the biggest thorn sticking out of the internet side. I mean, it is the dumbest thing that's afflicted the internet for a very long time,
Yeah.
and we've always sort of just been okay with it. We've never been like, guess what? Having to retype this indecipherable string of characters and numbers is like the worst thing ever. And it was getting to the point where it didn't even, like, the whole point is to prove you're human, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was getting to the point where I couldn't even tell what the hell I was looking at. And then they started doing these things where like it was photos of numbers of like people's like street numbers.
That was pretty good.
But that was
Kinda.
so weird.
But they're also like this super low resolution, so you have to kind of
Yeah.
like step back, like, squint your eyes, and hopefully get in the same mindset. Like I always found I was way better at captures while drunk, because like I'm kind of like
That's
hazy
weird.
anyway. But when I would look at them sober, I'm like,
That'd be a good skit.
It was true,
The
though.
dude who has to get wasted to buy tickets from
I
Ticketmaster.
could not freaking read half of these captions, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe if I just try to tilt my head, or maybe I'm a robot. Maybe
Sure.
I just gave up. Okay, for some reason I'm a bot. I didn't know it was a bot. You say I'm a bot. Can't freaking get this file.
It's all good because CAPTCHAs are art. Look at the photo here. It's art, man. That's it. It's art. I think so. CAPTCHAs are art.
That's what you want to do. You want to just put them on.
I want to make an
canvas?
exhibit of like really awful CAPTCHAs.
That would be a modern museum kind of thing. I like it.
We're bringing up CAPTCHAs because Google is replacing the entire system of CAPTCHAs. How are they doing that?
I'm freaking excited. Now they actually have a new, they call it reCAPTCHA. I mean, this is something they've been doing for a while. And the best way to explain it is like through this video that they put out. They explained how CAPTCHAs were meant to stop bots and everything, but they have a new system. And the way it works, because they've been doing this for years, is like you got to put your name in,
Right.
pick your favorite color.
Do you have to be logged in essentially?
Not
It's cookies
really.
though.
It's like
cookie. It uses cookies.
I think reCAPTCHA is actually going to be used by the site owners.
Okay.
So they're the ones who have it.
So it's the technology.
Right. So you literally click a button that says, "I'm not a robot," and you're through.
That was it, folks.
That's how it's going to be
That's
for
all.
us
That's,
on our
that's what
side.
we were missing the whole time.
It's like, why? I mean, Google's been working on this for a long time. So like, I'm just excited that it's supposed to work. They're claiming like a 99% like accuracy rate that
Sure.
bots don't get through to this. But I freaking hate CAPTCHAs. Especially if you're trying to like download something. You ever do that and you get like little timer, and
Yeah.
you're like, and then you don't read it right. I mean, this is the example that Google has. Like, this is a really sweet CAPTCHA. If it looked like this,
Oh my god.
let me get it back over here. It looks so easy, and it refuses. If nothing looks like that.
No, it's never a plain word.
No.
It's always a word that has a strange crease in it, and then they just dump like splattered paint all over it too.
Yeah, their examples are so clean.
Yeah, they're lying. That's totally deceiving.
But that's what they used to
CAPTCHAs
look
are
like.
awful. They're terrible. It's always, the first word's always easy. It's always like love, and then it's like and you're like, what the? What am I looking at?
It's like the R's and N's.
Yeah,
That's
or,
where I get
or
lost.
like, is the two N's an M, or is it like RN is an M? It's terrible. Or is that B a number? I don't know.
Oh, a 0 or
A
an
one
O.
and a 0. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Again, I saw this news feed.
It's infuriating.
I was like, okay, not a big deal. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Shit's about to get way easier.
Way better.
Like hitting a button. Not a robot. There you
It's
go.
just so funny. 10 years from now, we'll just laugh. We'll be like, remember CAPTCHAs? What was that? Right? That's what it's going to be. It'll just be a,
you think it's
a
gonna be like the 8-track of
yeah,
of
stupid
things?
little footnote from the internet's shattered past.
I don't think this is ever going to go away.
Speaking of shattered pasts, man, imagine you stole 100 brains from the University of Texas. What would your life be like?
I don't know.
This is crazy. 100 brains, human cadaver brains, are missing from the University of Texas, and they're in Iyaz's basement.
That's where I keep them because, when I go to Texas, I like to go get some brains. But I have yet to do this. But the University of Texas had these brains on loan, like something like a temporary loan. But it's been like 20 years. They've been like housing these brains for a while.
You take your time with the brains.
They have, this includes the brain of, potentially, the clock tower sniper Charles Whitman.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so they have, because they want, study this
Yeah,
stuff
they
and
wanna
see
see
what
what's
takes the
up,
mind of
yeah.
a killer and this kind of stuff that's going on.
This kind of reminds me of the plot to the new Wolfenstein game, too.
For a second, I think I said Wolfman again. I'm like,
No,
did you see the Wolfman movie?
There's a lot of brain stuff. A lot of brain stuff in that game and The Evil Within. Anyway, I digress.
According to a rep from the hospital, he goes, they are no longer in the basement. So about 100 of them were stolen. They don't know if it's a prank. They don't know if somebody's trying to sell them or whatever.
No, that's not a prank.
And what's crazy is that they have another 100. So they're moving them to an undisclosed location because there's a brain thief in Texas.
Strange.
And I was looking this up because I'm like, okay, well, how often does this freaking happen?
Yeah.
I mean, this can't happen that often. The first Google result was for this year, January 2014, where some guy was trying to sell brains on eBay for a couple $100. And he was successfully selling the brains because he stole them from museums.
Who bought them?
I don't know who bought them.
Who buys a brain like that?
Great question. I have no freaking
Where was he
idea.
selling them?
On eBay.
eBay, man, their hands got blood all over them sometimes,
There's
right?
brains
You're selling-
everywhere.
but you're letting people sell cadaver brains on
Well,
your
I mean,
site. Like, it's weird,
I
right?
think what's more weird is that there's a market for it. I can see why there's a black market for every other organ, right? You can use it. not like there's like a lot of brain transplants going on. You know, I don't think a lot,
Never.
heck of a
It's
lot.
never happened.
Just like what Dr. Frankenstein.
Maybe
messing
one
around.
day.
Maybe that'll happen. But it was like, why on earth would you How do you
Science, man.
How do you
Just
even get-
science. Why? Because of science.
How do you even get the idea? Like you're just walking around the University of Austin, you're just like, what could I do today?
It's like Big Lebowski, man. You need a toe, I'll get you a toe. Hell, I get your toe by 4:30. I'll get your brain by 5.
Do you think that's what happened? This is a prank that went wrong?
No idea, man. It's so weird. This kind of stuff upsets me because you always feel like every now and then you'll hear about the gigantic like black market organ, like mob thing going on, and that scares me. But at least those are like useful organs where like they have a value in the secondary market. With brains, though, I don't get it.
Oh, I'm wrong, actually, about the 100 remaining brains. They actually tell you where they moved them. Well, I don't know why they bothered to tell you that.
It's weird.
It's at the Norman Hackerman building. So if you're looking for more brains, Norman Hackerman has 100 more.
You're
brains.
starting to bring very strange stories to our program.
You're welcome.
And there you have it, the great brain caper of our time. So we're nearing the end of 2014. It's time for wrap-up stuff. We're looking 2015 right in the face. Our buddy Zach Whitaker from ZDNet put up a list of all the tech that died in 2014. Now, this is actually a pretty interesting list. I like seeing, like the things that had the super high hopes but went down in a huge thundering crash of flame.
Like my laptop right now as I'm trying to look at what's going on.
Nice.
It's kind of crapping out, so it's kind of sketchy. But yeah, like the first one, he's got Aereo. Remember Aereo?
Yeah, Aereo was an interesting situation. They got a ruling that just didn't
Kind of destroyed them.
didn't really fly well with their whole business model.
Yeah, the idea was you would be renting a micro antenna. That's what this is a picture of. You see
Right.
these little U-shaped things here, and they're supposed to be antenna. And
Right.
you rent this antenna, and you can like record all of this over-the-air stuff. So theoretically, it's just like you had a long cord to somebody's server.
Right, and the problem was it was essentially you splitting someone else's antenna and, kind of paying for that, or not paying for that.
They weren't paying anybody.
Right, so that's inherently there's an issue there.
Well,
I could see it both ways. Let's leave it at
I don't
that.
agree with the court ruling on
Right.
that one. But this thing, they were like, so call us a cable company. If we're
Right.
a cable company, we can retransmit. And they're like,
But then
no,
they need a different
can't do that either.
classification.
Oh, they
Yeah.
tried to get it. They couldn't.
Did they?
Get it. So they're that's why they're in chapter
Didn't really
11.
follow that whole lawsuit too closely.
I did because I actually signed up for Aereo when it came out,
Oh.
and I was like, this would be kind of neat to get,
Right.
like $8 a month if you don't get over the air.
Didn't work out.
Yeah, so they filed for chapter 11, so that's not going to be happening.
No, they're gone. Moving along, I want to get through all of these. The barge, remember that Google barge? What the hell happened to the Google barge? What the hell was it? What happened?
It was supposed to be a showroom, right? That was the original thing. It was supposed to be all of these. There were all these rumors about like there's going to be these parties up on the top deck, and there's going to be a showroom on the bottom, and it's going to be like celebrities only, or some weird amount of bullshit about this.
That's how much money Google has, is that they can just dump money on a freaking barge project that just never pans out.
And it went nowhere because they were
nowhere.
running into all kinds of issues with the government because they're like, hey, you got a barge over there, and you're gonna have to tell us
Yeah.
that there's a big freaking boat.
Because you're now a new country,
Yeah,
or
like,
something
they had
like
this
that.
all covered up in netting and scaffolding, and they're
Yeah,
like,
silly.
yeah, we can't really tell you.
It was
what's going
silly.
on.
It was
so
silly.
That's gone.
Remember Samsung tried to start their own operating system it was kind of like Android based, but their own. How did
Yeah.
that work?
It's still around. It's supposed to like take off. It's
Tizen.
Tizen, yeah. It's supposed to be like the Samsung's like magic bullet in case like Google decides to like screw with them.
Right.
eventually.
If all of a sudden Android's not an option.
Yeah, so like right now it still hasn't taken off. I think there's a Tizen powered watch, but
Gotcha.
the Tizen powered phone's been delayed and delayed and delayed all
Okay.
year. So it's just not making a dent. So it's
Right.
Pretty much dead.
Gotcha.
Not dead. It's still around.
The Anona box, the Tor Anona box for anonymizing router traffic.
Yeah, this seemed like a good idea. You get
I
a
don't
box.
remember this at all.
I think it was one of those Kickstarter ones. It was a Kickstarter, and the idea was you had this box and you just plug it into your system. So theoretically, everything that you do on online would be anonymized, so nobody knew what you would be doing. But the thing is, there were some serious problems with the security on this, saying like, "Hey, wait a minute, people could find out what's going on." They raised something like $600,000 in crowdsourced funding, but because of the security issues, nothing happened.
Didn't
with
work out. TrueCrypt, another thing, never heard of, looked like Windows software. What was this?
I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
This is the first I've heard of it. TrueCrypt no longer secured, swiftly discontinued.
All right.
There you go.
didn't really make a blip on the radar there, I guess.
This next one did, though.
This one absolutely did, and it's sad. But the iPod Classic snuffed out of existence in place of an iPod Touch and all these other touchscreen, all these fancy pants, new media players. No more iPod Classic. May it RIP in 2014.
With no announcement whatsoever. They're just like, it just wasn't in the store.
Oh, it got like snuffed out under the bus real hard. Remember Windows Live Messenger?
Yeah, I do.
That chat app that no one ever used.
The one that would never ever stop.
Well, that's gone too.
Good.
That's gone too.
Good. Thank you so much for that.
Number 8's so weird. He brought up the fact that those like that rocket that self-destructed like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
He brought that up.
What was the headline of this?
Well, the whole thing was like
tech that died. It's true. He wrote the tech that died in 2014. Now this,
I guess that rocket did die.
This is the definition of a technology that no longer is with us because it blew up. So Zach, if you're listening, and I know you're always listening,
He kind of took a freedom with that, though. I think that's like a jokey one that he put in. It was a rocket that was carrying stuff to send to the International Space Station,
right? And
there was like it was contracted too, so it was like this third-party rocket endeavor. The Antares, is that what it was called?
Antares, right?
Yeah. So it did not failure to launch.
It launched sort of.
It launched about 30 feet, and then that was it.
And the rest of the parts launched separately.
So he claims that Google Plus is another piece of tech that died in 2014 because it took a hit from the inside that it will not recover from. Why is this the case, though?
Well, Google tried to basically force everybody who used Google or Google services to be a Google Plus member.
Right.
And then after a while, like I think this is the year where they finally just said, all right, look, you don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to sign up for a profile because internally they're like, okay, this push can't work. Because the idea was that Google Plus would become the most dominant social network in the world. And it's not. It just can't take over Facebook. Facebook just destroyed it. Because when you go to Facebook, you know what you're doing there.
Sure.
But when you go to Google, you're not like, hey, you know what I want to do after I search for brains being stolen, which, by the way, is now in my history, which I really should have done in my incognito mode.
Yeah, probably.
But anyway, that's not what you go to Google for. You don't want to be matched with people or be socializing with people who are also searching for the same things or circling with them. So
totally.
I think that was the big issue there.
And then finally, number 10, RIP Windows XP, man.
No longer supported.
No longer supported. Still around if you could find yourself a copy, but no longer officially recognized by the folks at Microsoft.
I'd find ATMs everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, it's probably still running on an ATM.
It's probably running like I'm pretty sure like all those menus that you see outside of fancy restaurants.
Totally.
It's like that's an XP machine.
Definitely. It's so funny, man. They're definitely running XP on this machine they have that broadcasts all the locker room assignments in my where I play hockey in Hackensack. And like every time we get there, it should say my team name and like the rink you're playing on. But there's always like Windows error messages hovering over that vital information. We're like, oh, that's a good time for.
You gotta love the balloon that shows up saying
totally, hovering over some super important information. Finally, we want to play a video voicemail. It's the first one we've gotten in a very long time from our buddy from Australia, Jody, the Scrappy Sculptor, is what he goes by. So we have a little clip queued up. Let's play
I
it.
wanted to thank you by giving you a gift. I made this for you. Now, I'm in Australia, so I'll give it to you when you come and do a 404 in Australia.
I don't know about
but
that.
This is for you guys. I made it.
Oh.
And I'll just hang it up here
Cool.
on my wall until D's come and do a show in Australia, and then I'll present it to you in person.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Jody. The video goes on for a while. We'll post the link to that in the show notes today. He's an amazing sculptor. He takes like sort of like scrap metal and creates these second-hand designs with them. It's pretty amazing
In the video,
stuff.
does a little tour of his like a studio.
Yeah,
that's
his workshop.
And in the beginning of the video, he thanks everyone from doing the show. It was a lot of very great backslapping, great stuff. So thanks so much for that.
It's definitely an ego-stroking video that we appreciate and encourage you all to do more often.
And I love the fact that our first video voicemail comes from Australia because we've been asking for him for I don't know how long.
What does that have to do with Australia?
Well, he was like, this was one of the first points he mentions in this video is like, he goes, well, since nobody else did it, I guess I got to do it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Coming through in the end, in the clutch. Thanks, Jody. That's going to do it for us. Remember, tomorrow, very important show, episode 1589. All these records.
We're doing a show tomorrow?
Yeah,
Okay.
meant to be broken. You knew that. We
I'm
we
just
talked about
screwing
it.
around.
All right, you're a dick. We're going to have Wilson on Skype, Randall on Skype, Justin Yu, Jill Schlesinger in studio. Iyaz, myself, and Ariel will be here as well. That's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in. You can follow us on Reddit, Facebook, Instagram, and, of course, Twitter. Until tomorrow, I'm Jeff Bacalar.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
I'm Mark Lassay.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you being here, bud. Catch you guys tomorrow.